Afternoon, guys. Hope everybody's having a great afternoon. I know I am. It's hot here in East Texas, but that's the way it is. I ain't ever. All my roosters are under a TP. They ain't got a shade. It's hot. Anyway, we're not going to talk about the weather today. We are going to talk about common ancestors. I've been wanting to get on this topic for a while, and it's interested me, and it's something that I have followed and searched my memory and thought about and looked at other scenarios with other farms, and I believe it has a lot of merit to it. So we're going to dive right into it, guys. Here's the thing. The way I got interested in it was there's a guy from the Northeast one night messaged me while I was working at night. And I was in an office setting, and I was the only one there, and in between my assignments I'd be on Facebook scrolling, of course. And it was, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, 5, 6 years ago. It's been a while. And it interested me, and I started thinking about it logically and reliving my memories of a file that we had crossed, and it shows to have some merit. So I'm gonna lay it out to you. The guy messaged me, and he sent me a picture back of one of my brown reds, and he said, I bet them crossed great on the Gravedigger file. And I said, yes, sir, they do. I left a short message, yes, sir, they do. And he messaged me back. He said, yes, sir, because they have a common ancestor. I bet they are great. Now, he was from the Northeast up there, and he's an older gentleman. He had, his family lived right amongst all the greats, Hatch and Murphy and Kearney and, Duray and, Simon lived up there. All them people lived all up there in that Northeast. So, his family had knowledge of the chickens. Some of his family knew Simon. And anyway, he also, then his next comment was, they also crossed great on the leaper fowl that some of his family had on. They were some of the best chickens they'd ever crossed. And he said that, the Wingate did. And he kept saying because they had a common ancestor. So I started thinking about it. Common ancestors. And it's as plain as the nose on your face if you think about it. And people that seen it. A lot of times you'll have pure family of fowl, and they'd be excellent. A perfect example, I seen a guy show 6 pure brothers. Not the same day, over a different time, one with every one of them multiple times. He took the same hens and crossed them on another family that was excellent. They won plenty derbies with. The offspring looked like they would, when they were sparring them, they looked like they would outfight either side pure. When they showed them, they didn't win not one fight with them. Every one of them had a little pause in there. They go in there and they take care of their business, and then all of a sudden they just pause, and then they get caught. Every one of them just about lasted about as long as his brothers did, which wasn't very long. So anybody thinking about that knows right there was a flaw, and I'll bet you they didn't have a common ancestor. I've noticed with fowl that don't work, when the crosses don't work as you expect them to, they don't share a common ancestor. And fowl that do work as you expect them to, which show us as good as either of the pure families or a little better than both the pure families. And I'm not talking about sparring in the backyard. I'm talking about back when it was legal and you could take them to a cockpit, back in the legal days. And I'm going to give you some examples and tell you the history on them. If you notice, some of the winningest fowl in the world, some of the winningest fowl, the winningest crosses in the world, have always been Hatch Roundheads, Hatch Clarets, Hatch Brown Reds, Kelso Roundheads, things like that. And I'm going to dig into it just a little deeper than that. A lot of the hatch fowl that is successful crossed to the roundhead fowl are predominantly peacocke hatched fowl. So what does that tell you? The roundhead is predominantly peacocke. They share a common ancestor. I've seen it here in my own crossing where we crossed back when I was young. Some of the first grave diggers we got, we crossed a proven roundhead cock over a grave digger hen. Which the grave diggers are 100% straight comb. They were beautiful. They looked like they was going to be excellent cocks to show. When we carried them to the show, you could not pay. They would not. That we didn't win a fight with them. And there was the only cross that I know that did not work between that cock and that hen. Now they may have worked. You took another pair, you may have got excellent chickens, because we never did it again. But they did them little lacy roundheads, which was low Hugh Norman. They probably didn't share a common ancestor with them gravedigger chickens, because the roundhead fowl is predominantly a southern fowl, except for the Boston roundhead, which the Boston roundhead wasn't a roundhead anyway. They were pearl. They were the people say that the old timers would say the Boston roundhead was the Duray fowl, that the peacocke side of it. So he shipped somebody and they never got picked up. And somebody got them. But because they looked exactly like the Duray, except they were peacocke. They were white leg, black spur, peacocke fowl. Anyway, we won't get off on that. But predominantly all the roundhead fowl were southern speedcocks. And then when we crossed them to the gravedigger, which was a northern short-hill roosters, straight comb, it didn't work. They were beautiful. Did everything right, except they couldn't win. You take the gravedigger and you cross it on the brown red, and we had excellent cocks. Either way, gravedigger, brown red, gravedigger. Same way with a lot of the hatch and the claret. You know, the best hatch clarets that I've seen were out of a straight comb family of hatch and claret, which they all share a common ancestor. Same way with your hatch Kelso. Your Kelso, if he's a real Kelso, he's going to share a common ancestor with a hatch, because the Kelso blood is carrying the Madigan blood, so forth, back to the Duray, back to that northern area up there. It's just plain as the nose on your face. I've seen it work really well with crosses, and then you say people that the cross just didn't nick. Well, I believe that when the cross just don't nick and both sides of the fowl are excellent, pure, then it's because they don't share a common ancestor. And then you can breed them both either side of the fowl to another family, and they may be the best cocks in the world. So there's something there. There's something there with them having a common ancestor. I truly believe this. What he told me was great knowledge, because I've thought about it and I've watched it, and I think about when a cross really works. And we'll even go even deeper than that. You take your Sid Taylors. Your Sid Taylors, they were formed out of some Irish black hens and a blue cock. Okay, they were made out of a blue cock and some black hens. The Irish black hens. So many of your dark bloodlines that are worth anything at all, just about all of the black bloodlines I know are all carrying that same Irish black. They all started from some black chickens from Ireland. If you go back that far, the Wingate chickens. He got the hens, Irish black hens, had them imported. You know what I mean? So many. And so them chickens all share a common ancestor. You know, so it's amazing how good that the real Sid Taylors cross with a lot of families of chickens. And so it's right there. It's in front of, just right in front of your face. You take all your Kelsos. They cross, your Kelsos, a lot of them will cross good with the roundhead, because Kelso used a lot of roundhead fowl on his place. He bred with roundhead fowl. So when you breed a roundhead Kelso or Kelso roundhead, or even as far as what people call sweaters, which are peacock chickens, and all of them's going to have some Kelso or roundhead or both in them, then you're going to have a good cross. And then you go all the way back. You take some of you take people that breed the A-seals. And a lot of people say the A-seal cross is good on the hatch, but I bet the hatch they're using is the peacock hatch, something like a Leaper or a McLean or something like that. That's already carrying some Oriental blood in it, and a lot of the A-seals that's worth a crap now, or what they're calling A-seal, are just Jap chickens. I mean, they just somebody somehow got called A-seal so somebody could sell them back a while ago. That don't mean they're not great chickens. I'd rather have a Jap than I would an A-seal. I'd feed a Jap. That's my personal opinion. I don't want to get up on that. Common ancestors, if you think about it. Common ancestors. It's been responsible for more of the successful crosses, because the most successful cross in the world in the gap days, in the days before they ever started showing any knife, was a Hatch Claret. A Hatch Claret was the #1 cross when I was a kid. A Hatch Claret. See, nobody liked black chickens. A black chicken was taboo. Oh, he was taboo. A black chicken, even a gray, was taboo when I was a kid. They were taboo. I mean, no, if you had a gray, you could expect to get talked bad about when I was a kid. If you had a black chicken, you surely gonna get talked bad about. And a blue, oh God, a blue or a white, Jesus, don't show up with him. You know, I mean, he better win, because if he didn't, they gonna laugh all the way. They gonna laugh you out of the pit. But that's the way they were. It was red roosters. You know, they didn't nobody have any of the off-colored chickens. That there was very few and far between the ones that was in the count, and they still are today. To tell you the truth, they still are today. You know, we always had the more black chickens, and they did well for us. And as time went by, people learned not to talk so bad about them old black chickens. But when you crossed them on a hatch, they were good. When you crossed them on a gravedigger, they were great. That's the difference in a good cross and a great cross. To cut to the chase, is usually a great cross is going to have a common ancestor. They may be a good cross when they don't, or they may not work at all. But having a common ancestor, if you look back, when you have a successful cross and look back, somewhere along the line, that both of them chickens was carrying some of the same blood. You know, and usually the further back, the better, you know, from what I've seen, you know. I mean, so that's just my take on common ancestors. Sorry I hadn't been on as much here lately, but the season just now, it's just now got so hot that you couldn't do anything else. And we went through an extremely bad month. Here, the hottest it's been, I think, since 1909 here. But it's better now. We're in the 90s instead of triple digits. And everything's better here in East Texas now. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Be sure, if you like it, share it, you know, subscribe to the channel. All those things, do all the good things. Let me know that you like what we're doing here. Just food for thought on that common ancestors. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to get on before we leave. I be seeing a lot of them old boys on there on social media. They'll be having a live stream between two of them. I guess they call it a podcast. And it'll be one snake oil salesman with another snake oil salesman. And they're talking to each other. And neither one of them ever did anything but peddle. They don't show, and if they do, they don't